I met a man who studied for 10 to 12 years thinking. And I said to him, can you teach me one thing about thinking? And he said, I will teach you something about thinking. I'm going to teach you now as well. Okay. He said, if you take all the people in the world and you look statistically at it, he says, 2% of people in the world, how many? 2% think. 3%, how many? 3%. 3% think that they think. And the other 95%, how many? 95% would rather die than have to think. It says people don't think. And you might argue and say, but I think all the time. Just because there's things going on here doesn't mean you think. Let's test it. Let's see who are the thinkers in the room, okay? So what we're going to do, take your hand. This is now our symbol for thinking. So take your hand and put it up like this. Everyone, take your hand. This is your thinking cap. Right? Everyone got their hand above their head? Now, take your hand and just gently go and put it on your cheek. Where's your cheek? Not here. Where's your cheek? Are we thinking or are we not thinking? Right? Who are the thinkers? You want me to show you?
Yes, sir.
Very easy. I've learned the most important words to say. I've learned namaskar. I've learned ha. I've learned nay. I've learned acha. I've learned TK. And I've learned, let me just say it right, Daniwag. Daniwag. You're going to say Nawag, right? With that, I can hold a conversation. I meet somebody and I go, Namaskar. Ha ha, nay, nay, TK, TK, TK. Acha, 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 TK. Daniwag. So there's three things I learned about India. One, I think one day I can master the language. Number two, I have learned, because when we first got here, and here's my wife as proof, when we got here to India, we didn't know what this meant. Does it mean yes? Does it mean no? Are you happy? Are you unhappy? But I do know why Indians do this all the time. It's because of the way you drive. Right? Indians are the best drivers in the world. Nobody can drive better because you guys drive in and out and take chances. And while you're driving, so I think it's just easier to do this. Right? So I understand that. That's the second thing I've learned. The third thing I've learned is that whether we're in India, whether we're in South Africa, in Europe, in the USA, in Australia, we are all human beings. We're all the same. We all want the same things. We all want things to change for the better. IBM. Have you heard of IBM? Yes. They did a study many years ago with thousands of top CEOs in organizations around the world. And they said, we've moved from the industrial age through the information age, and we're moving into a whole new age now, where all the rules are changing. Everything we think we know is changing. They say for you as students, studying for 4 years, by the time you're studying your second year, half of what you learned in the first year is already obsolete and changing. So they said to these CEOs, what are the top 5 things a company needs to be successful in this new age? And they compiled a list of, actually it was a list of 20, which they then narrowed down to their top 5. What do you think was at number 1? Do you understand the question? If there's top 5 things a company needs to survive in today's new age, what do you think was at number 1? Put up your hand, let's hear. Yes.
Proper planning towards
Proper planning towards finance,
finance.
important, but not at number one.
Adaption.
Sorry?
Adaption and upgradation.
Adaption and?
Upgradation.
Upgradation. That was even more confusing, but yes. Okay, very good, but not quite, but close to number one. What else? What do you think was at number one? Mindset of the people. Okay. Anything else?
Innovation and creativity.
Innovation, creativity, all important. But without this thing, innovation and creativity means nothing. We can all come up with creative ideas. Does it mean things are different? Because the power doesn't lie in ideas, right? The power lies in application of ideas. So you're all getting closer. So what they said and what they found was at number one, that every company is going to need, and I like the word they used, not only the willingness to change, but the words they used was the hunger for change. Following is the most basic formula for change. And it says that change will take place when N is bigger than R. N is bigger than R. So what do you think M stands for? And what do you think R stands for? What is M? What needs to be the biggest? Motivation. You're right. So your motivation needs to be bigger than what? What is R? Yes, absolutely. So change takes place when motivation to change is bigger than your resistance to the change. Does that make sense? So when we speak about motivation, what kind of motivation? You know there's two types of motivation. You get extrinsic motivation and you get intrinsic motivation. Do you know the difference between the two? Extrinsic motivation is where you get a guy who's called, that's what everyone thinks I am, but I'm not actually. Is a motivational speaker who comes up and says, yes, we can, and then you go? Yes, much better than that. Yes, we can, and you go?
Yes, we can.
Almost, it's about 30%. Yes, we can.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
About 60%. Come, we can go bigger. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
You see, that's called motivating a person. That's extrinsic motivation. You do that enough times, you get people to jump up enough times, and that person feels like they can do anything. Right? Until they go to sleep and they wake up in the morning and they go, no, I can't. Right? There's